we're always looking for new solutions in special education. We're looking for that one thing that's going to make things better. I cannot wait to introduce you to a new solution that's going to be available real soon. And I'm just going to jump right into this. Welcome to the Special Education Inner Circle podcast. I'm Catherine Witcher, your host. And today I have with me Allie Weiss from n2y. And I became familiar with n2y both as an educational consultant, and we have some great things happening behind the scenes with Master IEP coaches and n2y. So Allie, thank you for being here today.
It is my absolute pleasure to be here, and thank you for having me.
So we're always looking for this new solution. I'm always looking for the next best thing. And I just want to start out, before we get into something new, I want to just share with everyone a little bit about who n2y is, just some of the solutions that you already have, because the parents and teachers and admins and therapists who are listening have been through a tremendous amount of stress. Some of them may already use your tools, they're familiar with your tools, but many are not. So could you just give us a little overview?
Absolutely. So n2y has been around for almost 20 years, and our real focus is that we want to help students with unique learning needs in their academics, helping them with their behavior, help all the teachers and service providers and parents around them so the student can become as independent as possible. So we have our flagship is News to You, which provides access to current events for students who have reading deficits, but we also have the unique learning system that takes all of the standards in all of your states, all your academic standards, and helps modify that so that it's accessible for students with the most unique learning or complex learning needs. We have symbol supports that are entire visual language to help students either comprehend or communicate, and that symbol sticks prime, and our teachers can build things with that. We also have independent skills practice, which I know a lot of you have been using over this time with remote, but in L3 skills, which stands for lifelong learning skills. And it's a really fun, independent, gamified solution for our students to learn and practice these skills in academic and transition. And then we also have positivity, which helps with behavior, which was really helpful in remote situations because it provides digital access to positive and proactive behavior support. So even if you weren't there in real life, or shouldn't say in real life, but if you weren't there, we're doing Zoom like we are now, we could still provide those great social narratives and the visual schedules of what's going to go on, even though our day was a little bit crazy. Online and in an interactive format. So what we really do is we want to keep the kids at the heart, help everybody around them, and we want to help our students become as independent as possible here at n2y.
Okay, so I've got two questions for you. First one is, how did you end up at an IEP table or involved in this whole IEP process? So you just rattled off all of these different solutions and people were like, oh my gosh, like what is all of this? But you personally have a real drive for making sure that these solutions are helping children become as independent as possible. So can you share a little bit about that?
Sure. So I kind of ended up here at the IEP table for a love of IEPs and really helping to create that individualized plan to help my students and all students achieve and have the best outcomes possible. I want everyone to be as independent as possible. Really and truly, it started in 6th grade. So my aunt was the head of IEP compliance in our state, and I learned how to write IEPs in 6th grade, and it became one of my passions to really help hone in and work with teams to make appropriate plans, make sure our students were engaged and our parents and caregivers were informed. And then I became a speech therapist and worked in school districts for over 13 years. And we're on IEP teams for various reasons, and just really love the process and wanted to help others feel comfortable with the IEP process. And then here at n2y, providing the how on the IEP. So we're, when given, we wanted to make sure that we were the part of the when given and having those great modified solutions so our students could reach their IEP goals and their academic goals. So that's kind of how I've progressed through and ended up at this table.
And I love that. I love that you have experience from generations before, because I talk all the time about how special education itself has not changed a whole lot. I say we need to leave special education from the 1980s in the past. Like we need to evolve. And that's something that N2Y is passionate about. It's something that we as a Master IEP coach community, we're passionate about. So, working together is absolutely about making sure that a child has an appropriate education, that they're prepared for further education, employment, and independent living. But my next question is, we've talked a lot about these big solutions that are available. Do parents have access to anything outside of what their school district might purchase? So we have all of these tools, and it's very well known that, a school district purchases a tool, a curriculum, and then it's implemented. And majority of the time, parents don't have access. Actually, majority of the time, parents don't even know what curriculum their children are working in. And that's something that we are working to change. We want parents to know what they're working in. So what do we look at, on through N2Y and through positivity and through all of these things that are out there? What can parents directly go to?
So we really want to involve the entire team, and we really want to make sure our parents and our caregivers and our children are active participants. So with all of our solutions, the students actually have their own student login. So our parents are interacting and understanding what is available and working through that with their child at home. So they're going to have access to all the wonderful material, explanations on the levels, all of the material, what the focus is and why we're doing that particular thing, whether it's behavior and positivity or academics and unique. So all of that's there, but then we also provide tools for our service providers and our teachers to give to the parents so that they understand. For unique learning system, for example, this is what we're going to be covering this month. This is what it's going to be about. We have activities, for instance, like the Daily Buzz, where it's that homeschool communication, but in a virtual way, so that our parents are involved and know what our students are doing and what they liked and what they didn't like on that particular day. In behavior, we have amazing guides to help our parents, break that code, and our caregivers of what does this mean for at home? This is how they set it up. How do I bring that home? So we provide lots of guidance and support in lots of different modalities. So there's videos, there's materials that you can download, there's interactive materials, because we want to make it accessible and in a format that's great for our parents and our children at home. So there's lots of different materials all over all of our solutions that are making sure that the entire and its caregiver team and the parents around that child feel supported, educated, and ready to help.
I think it's so important, like that's raising the bar for this is not just a curriculum that says, hey, we meet state standards, or we help your child meet milestones, or we're going to move from reading level A to reading level B. It's always about achievement with other curriculums and other programs in a way that tends not to look at this whole big picture of what is required to truly help this child succeed. It's not just about getting to the next reading level. That's important, 100%. But if we don't have a positive social emotional experience, if we don't have communication that's working, if we don't have a curriculum that takes into context all of the modifications or accommodations that might need to be adapted, then we're looking at a curriculum that is one-sided. And that's something that I want every parent and teacher to hear is you don't have to settle for something that is only going to work on one piece of what a child needs. There are solutions and options and things out there. And, visiting N2Y is a great place to be, just knowing that you're not looking for just moving to that next achievement benchmark, that we're looking at something much bigger. Now, that being said, one of the reasons we're chatting today is because I want everybody to know about what is up and coming and what's going to be available, because this can be a huge game changer. And it's one of the things, if you're just like thinking right now, my school district has not invested with n2y or positivity or any of these solutions, unique learning. My school has not invested, nor will they invest. I still want you to keep listening because I want you to hear about what some of the struggles are, that really were the foundation for this upcoming solution. I'm going to talk about some things that you can do on your own and how this tool then can help you take it next level, because you never know what might be coming for your school district or what you could be advocating for in a positive, collaborative way to bring the right tools to your school district. So let's first talk about one of the big problems that you were seeing as a whole. Allie, you, your team, the company, just everybody's got their kind of viewpoint in all these different programs, but there was kind of this commonality of a struggle that was happening. Can you describe that a little bit?
Sure. So, this is an age old situation that we've got lots of different disciplinary viewpoints, which we should have in an IEP, and we're all looking at a student from different lenses, and that should actually be celebrated. But as we're looking through those different lenses, I may have data, in a certain area. My teacher may have data in another area. My parent has this great information about what's successful and how they do that at home, but it's all in different places. I have a behavioral specialist who has some great information and great data on this student, but putting it all together in a way that was usable and helped really hone in on what we should be focusing on and what we can accomplish in a year was difficult to do. When I just being, in the school system myself, when I was an itinerant speech therapist, I wasn't always able to be there during those planning times. And so remote, how do I collaborate? How do we all get together? How do I ensure that our parent and our caregivers really know that we are invested in doing the best for your child? And how do they feel like an active participant when there's so many different people to coordinate with? So that was one thing that we really wanted to do in this new solution, is we wanted to bring everything together in a collaborative platform and really help guide every step of the process of the IEP, so that you can really focus on the outcomes and what was important for the child, and make sure that everyone felt supported and involved, so that you could then really get into the meat of the plan and executing that plan, versus trying to figure out what would be the good direction. So that was one of the big leading pieces. The other thing is, we do have lots of data on our students, and n2y we have amazing data on our students when it comes to positivity behavior and what works well and what's proactive in unique learning system, the academics. In news to you, you're getting that great informational text and listening and speaking and all those great things, and then we also have all of our transition material and what's important for daily living. We had all of that, but putting it together and making something in one really easy platform is where we wanted to go and what we wanted to solve. So we wanted to help show that whole picture and make it very easy for our IEP teams to feel and have a safe place to collaborate, and just really focus on IEP planning. Should be fun. It should be absolutely exciting. You get to help make your child and your student more independent and work toward that, and see and celebrate those small steps the whole entire year. So we wanted to bring the fun back in planning, executing and writing those IEPs. And so that's
I love that. So that's one of the things that I'm talking about all the time, about how IEP meetings should not be the time where we're first discovering the data. It's not the time where we say, okay, so what do you have? What do you have? What do you have? What do you have? And some people listening to this just went what do you mean? That's exactly what we do at an IEP meeting. And I'm like, no, you have these experts, like you said, and their perspective should be celebrated. So if we're going to take advantage of this hour or 90 minutes or 2 hours, no, if we're going to take advantage of this time together, we need to prepare ahead of time and have everything in this usable format that we can come together and then use our brain power to be like, okay, now based on all the information we have, all right, let's do this. Let's get creative. Let's spend our time in that joyful part of planning, and some people again just went joyful. Yes, when you have the stress gone of what's going to show up at the table, what does the data look like, what are they going to tell me happened over the last few months, you know, you take away the secrecy and you have this open communication of what's happening, you can get into solving and creating at a whole new level. So first of all, everybody can do this manually. You could 100%, you know, do what you've been doing and then do all this prep work ahead of time, which is of course what we teach and what I say, like this should be happening. And then all of a sudden you guys came to me and said, guess what? We have this really cool new thing coming out. And I was like, I wanted that 20 years ago when I was a
Me
teacher.
too.
like, what do you mean I wouldn't have to do it manually? So tell us a little bit about the name of what is coming up so people can Google it and figure it out. And just a few of the highlights and features of how it's going to solve this problem of showing up to an IEP meeting and then, you know, doing that discovery process.
Absolutely. So I'm really excited to tell everybody that our solution is called Polaris. Polaris because we want to help guide, suggest, and support through the IEP process. Where our tagline for it is where teams align and students shine, and we really want to help promote that positive part of the IEP. So it is named Polaris, and you'll see when you go in, you can do free trials right now. It has a very nice roadmap guidance kind of feel so that you feel supported every step of the way and your entire team is interacting. So what this does is if you have existing n2y material or solutions, it will take the data from that, but you don't have to have any of our other solutions. You can use just Polaris on its own. But what happens is you actually go through the entire IEP process. So it starts with plan. So we're going to get all that great data together ahead of time. We're going to make sure everyone feels supported, understands what their role is, understands what an IEP is, so they don't have to come in with that stress and that worry. So we're going to get all that done in plan. And then we are going to actually, Polaris is going to automatically help you write your goals, your present levels of performance, those types of things. So all that you have to do with your team is to tweak. And then once you're done with that, we know that everyone has their own IEP compliance software. So then you actually take what you've written and you simply just put it over into your IEP software. And then the real fun starts. And yes, I mean fun, which is the execute part. And that is an area where it will help you to plot and move toward and track progress for your student. There's going to be trend analysis to make sure that we know that we're going to hit that target, or if not, Polaris is going to start suggesting things to help with making that target a reality. And then we have a reporting area so that we can really quickly make progress reports. We can share all that great celebration with others. And then we go right back into the next plan. So it's really that great cycle throughout the whole entire time. Though, the other thing that we're really excited about is it's also a collaboration tool. So you can create something, you can put in data, you can choose an assessment. There are assessments and rubrics and observational profiles in there as well, so that it can help you with present levels of performance. So you can, very quickly shoot over a note to the parent going, hey, could you fill out this profile and let us know what your thoughts are for the future of your child? Or to the therapist, hey, could you review this goal, or could you finish this rubric or this assessment? And then you can talk back and forth directly on the platform as well. So, or work together to tweak the present levels of performance and write. So every step of the way, Polaris, what it actually does is it helps you go through that roadmap. It helps you to collaborate while you're there. And then it takes all that great data and starts suggesting things. So based on those present levels of performance in this assessment, what about these types of SMART goals? Based on the performance in this area, why don't you try to implement this type of behavior strategy? So it's going to support and provide that guidance along the way as well. Again, just allowing you to spend time focusing on what matters, which is the student and their outcomes, to help them become as independent as possible.
I love all of that. And I want to encourage everyone, again, that if you're not already using solutions like N2Y, positivity, symbol sticks, unique learning, if you're not already using those kind of things, I'm gonna share a quick story from when I was a teacher. I walked into the classroom. I tell this part a lot. I say I walked into my classroom, my first classroom, and there's nothing. There's nothing on the walls. There's a couple of desks, couple of chairs, my teacher desk, and this bright green milk crate sitting on the desk that is like stacked up with IEPs. And I just had to start from scratch. I didn't have curriculum. I didn't have books. I didn't have stuff. And what I didn't know at the time is that there was a bunch of stuff written inside the IEPs that I absolutely should have had access to. And I later learned how to get access to all of that. But I had a really great parent of one of my students come to me and said, "What do you need? Because I have a voice in the district in a way that you might not have a voice. And together, we can help, make sure that you have the tools that you need." There was no fighting. There was no, over negotiating. There was no threats of any kind. And I share this specifically because I know so many people are listening to this thinking this is so great, but how? You have to ask. You have to bring the tools. You have to go Google up, where Polaris is at, go click the links wherever I'm putting this at, take that free trial and start talking about it with your school, because the only way that we get better at what we're doing is when we have the involved people, the parents, the teachers, the therapists, the admins, and everybody exploring new things and willing to start that conversation and say, hey, there's this problem and there's a solution that's out there. So I want to encourage everybody to use their voice. I tell you, I had like the most awesome curriculum after having that conversation with the parent and us working with the district. I had tools that I never thought were possible. And I had other teachers in the district saying, how did you make that happen? And it all started with a conversation. And we're talking about this all the time of we can't just expect things to change if we're not going to be a catalyst for that. And that's something that you're talking about. This is a catalyst that can be create this change of communication. One of the key things that you said was a team member can like shoot over some information to the parent in like real time and say like, hey, can we get some feedback of what's going on, and put that in there, and it's all in one place. Can you just share again? I love the tagline, just kind of that big vision. I know enough about all these solutions that you guys think really hard about these, and you really wanted to encompass everything that you're looking towards. So share a little bit about that tagline, and then maybe some next steps if people are interested in this solution or another solution, what needs to happen next.
Right. So it's where teams align and students shine. And that just really encompasses into why I can't say that enough. We keep students at the heart of everything that we do, and then those around them that support them. We want our teams to shine. We want them to not worry about the compliance, and we want them to feel confident about how to make a standards-based SMART goal. We want them to feel included, so that they're at the table together, focused on the student. And one collaborative team. So we want those teams to align, and we always want our students to shine. So, our students are also a part of Polaris, so they get to put in what they want to do. We have to involve all of our students, no matter how unique their learning needs are, in planning that IEP. And so we actually even provide ways for our students to, regardless of what supports they may require, talk about what they need and what they want and what goals they want to work on. So all of those things help not only the student shine, but keep it compliant, which is important, so that our students can, be our main focus. So we want them to shine. We want them to celebrate all of their growth. We want them to master those goals in the year and have them, meaningful for them. So that's the big tagline. Very simple. Teams aligned. Where teams align and students shine. You can go to n2y.com and go into our solutions tab, and Polaris, and also Polaris is beautiful across the top. You can click on it to see a little bit of it in action. And also you can go in today, we just turned it on, and get a free trial of Polaris. You can try it out with one student and create start to finish a IEP roadmap for them. And you can invite and collaborate with others, and just kind of see what Polaris has to offer and how it can help.
I love that so much. So I want to encourage everyone to go see what the solutions are, especially take a look at Polaris because that's brand new, and use this as a brainstorming type of search to figure out what can you as an IEP team member, whether you're, working for the school or it is your child, what can you do to help level up this IEP experience? What can you do to make sure that we don't slide backwards after all the stress that we've been under for the last, year and a half? We don't have to go back to the way that it was. This is an opportunity. I've been saying for a long time that special education has fallen apart. We now have the opportunity to put it back together better than it was. So this is taking this next level and making sure that we're looking at new options, new things. It is the time to look for those like little open doors that we can go through and bring all of these new tools and new things to. So Allie, I just want to thank you for being here and sharing all of these resources. I cannot wait to hear the feedback from everyone. And the questions, of course, go over to n2y. They've got so much information over there. You can connect directly to them. If you are thinking about becoming a master IEP coach, just know that we are absolutely connected to n2y. This is our jam. This is the way that we like to do special education. We are collaborative. We love tools like n2y. We're all about making the IEP experience better for everyone, especially the child. So again, follow the links wherever you're listening or watching. You're going to have the links for that. Again, Allie, thank you for being here today.
It is my pleasure. Thank you for everyone, and good luck for the end of the year.